In crypto, you could think of the markets kind of like seasons, where we look at specific temperatures and weather conditions based off of spring, summer, fall, and winter. Or for all of you that enjoy sports or hunting or gardening, you know that you have to do certain things in preparation for when the season comes to fruition. You have to take time to plant the seeds so that way you can harvest later on. And you don't want to plant seeds right when things are beginning to die and go cold, well, depending on whatever you're planting, right? So when we think about seasonality, we can also get caught up in the 1 minute time frame when we're looking at crypto charts. It's really easy to get caught up with what's happening on today's candles, on today's 1 minute candle. Whereas if we just zoom out a little bit and we look at the entire year, we can understand a whole lot more. We can understand and recognize those patterns of seasonality when it comes to crypto. So in this video, for the Coin Bureau trading channel, we're going to be talking about trading in 2025 using this idea of being a seasonal trader. To be honest, the season's looking bright for 2025. But before I get into the charts, before I get into the fun stuff, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the Coin Bureau trading channel. My name is Aaron Dishner from the Better Traders, and I'm super excited to go into this with you today. So, how many of you have seen this chart before on CoinGlass? CoinGlass is a free website where you can look at a bunch of different metrics, on-chain metrics. You can look at lots of indicators and things like that. It's similar to Glassnode, except CoinGlass is free. You can sign up and you can get access to other stuff, but we don't really need to do that because you've probably seen these screenshots talking about Bitcoin quarterly returns based off of however long it's been around. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to come down here to the monthly returns, because the reality is that while this looks like a mishmash of red and green and Merry Christmas, although it's a couple days late, there is actually a pattern here. There's actually a lot to understand about this, but there's a lot that also makes sense when we look for the patterns, when we see what's actually taking shape. Now, admittedly, this is a wash, and it makes way more sense to look at the quarterly returns, but there's a whole lot of detail that is not actually being shown here. So I'm actually going to share a resource with you that I provide in the Better Traders Club. This thing is called the Crypto Historical Monthly Performance Sheet. Now, this sheet is ridiculous because it contains a lot of information, the same stuff you see on CoinGlass, but it has way more information in it. And I've also used a, color grading. I forget what it's called, but I can't remember the name. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But you'll notice that some of these cells are more green or more red than others. This is done on purpose because this isn't so helpful. There are actually patterns at play. And when we use this color grading, for lack of a better term, because my mind's just drawing a blank, someone will put it in the comments and I'll say, oh, you're right. But when we look at this, we can recognize a couple of things. One, we have these orange cells right here. These denote a halving year, or rather the halving event for each halving. Halving 1, 2, 3, 4. And the most recent halving happened on April 19th, 2024. Now, knowing that we have just finished a halving year, we can come over here to the right-hand side to see what is the average performance for Bitcoin. Ever since 2011, we should expect 8 out of 12 months to be green. Now, this does not mean that you're always going to be up 3/4 of the time. We all know that. It just means the monthly closes. But I want you to pay attention to something really interesting here. Again, if we can just kind of fuzzy and blur our eyes a little bit at this data, we're going to notice something really interesting. Over here on the right side, see all of these big, thick red numbers? We have 8 out of 12 months are red, 9 out of 12 are red, 8 out of 12 are red. Guess what those years are? Those are the bear market years. 2022, really the bear market started in November 2021, but that's when the price topped out rather. But 2022 was an awful bear market year. We saw some crazy price action and it just kept on dumping. Now, I don't care whether or not you believe in the 4-year cycle, because the 4-year cycle believes in you. Because if we go back and we notice that the next large red number here happens to be in 2018, which was gasp. That was a bear market year. Even though the price of Bitcoin topped out in December 2017, that started the bear market year. On my own personal channel, I put out a video, I think 2 weeks ago, that basically goes into this idea. Top year, bottom year, recovery year, rally year, something like that. So top, bottom, recovery, rally. Okay. So we can take this into be the bottom year, recovery, rally. Now we're going into top. Now, does this work backwards? Let's see. So 2018, if this is a bottom year, then that means the next year, 2019, was a recovery year. 2020 was a rally year, which it definitely was. Then we had our top year in 2021. Then we start over. Bottom, recovery, rally. So that means we're heading into our top year. So what this means is that I still firmly believe that we're going to see a new all-time high probably in November 2025. A lot of the metrics agree with me when I look at the numbers, when I look at the data for Bitcoin. Everything seems to be pointing to the fact that we haven't topped out yet. I also have lots of other videos on this channel in the playlists that talk about this exact same idea, where we're not there yet. I don't know why my internet's going so slow. There you go. Full playlist. This one right here. The bull market is far from over. This is posted 2 weeks ago. We're not seeing these signals yet. It's not flashing top. If you go here, this signaled the Bitcoin top every single time 3 weeks ago. We're not seeing that signal either. But if you check the timeline, oh man, if you look at X, if you look at YouTube, a lot of the videos are very bearish. People are getting really scared. But the reality is that Bitcoin's only down like 13% from its all-time high. So this is why I'm talking, well, this is what I was talking about in the beginning. When we zoom in, we look at the minute time frame, 5, 15-minute, hourly time frame, we can get so absorbed and obsessed with every little price action, every little movement up and down that it wrecks us. Whereas if we zoom out and we know that there's basically a 4-year cycle, top year, then there's a bottom year, recovery, rally, then we can apply that to where we are right now. Now, I will say that part of that is almost a little bit broken because Bitcoin, when it started, when it was just a wee lad, when it was just a baby in 2011, we saw some crazy price action. Now, I know that there is price action before this, but it doesn't really matter because Bitcoin moving up 351% in a month is ridiculous. 468% in a month, we aren't going to see that again. I don't care how much Michael Saylor buys. I don't care how much other countries buy. We're not going to see 468% growth in 1 month for Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. But what we can do is look for this seasonality effect. What we can do is use this data to help us to determine, well, is it going to be a good year for alts? And is there an optimal time to be trading alts? Yes, there is. So pay attention. So going back to this idea, identifying our bear market years, it's interesting that they're 4 years apart. It's also interesting that we can use the same idea of a recovery year, a rally year, and a top year. Bottom. Then we have our recovery year, rally year, top, bottom, recovery, rally. So we're going into our topping year. Okay, so I've said that 5 times and I don't think you've understood it any better than that. So I'm going to stop there. What I want to show you though, which is really interesting, is that historically speaking, Bitcoin performs way better at the end of the year. And I've said this before on my channel. I think I've said this a couple of times on this channel as well. The fourth quarter pretty much is dominated by Bitcoin every single year. Now, it's not always going to be that way. This month, we're probably going to close down red, given the fact that we have just 2 days left in this monthly candle, and things look awfully red. I don't think things are going to change drastically or dramatically, but they always could. But even still, the median performance for every single December going all the way back to 2011 is 8%. Sometimes it overcompensates. Sometimes it does not perform very well at all, like in 2021. Or back here in 2013. Now, why do I have median and average? Well, the reason why is simple. Median looks at the entire data set, but it excludes the far right and the far left outliers. It excludes negative 36% and excludes 59%. So it's showing us more of a better representation of the middle or the midline performance, whereas average is going to take everything into account. So average is actually going to be the wrong number to look at. It's not the right one, in my opinion, because it's going to be showing some grossly exaggerated numbers. Like here, April, because we have this massive 351% close, then this is going to skew the results. But if this was just like a 1% close, well, that's going to drop dramatically down to 10%. You get it? And yes, the median does drop as well too. But besides the point, I want to make sure that you see this, that even on the average side, average and median performance for Bitcoin in the fourth quarter is more often green than red. Yes, in a bear market year, it will be red. In a bear market year, it will be red. In a bear market year, it will be red. But what about the post-bear market year? Well, we got 3 greens, 3 greens, 3 greens. Here's our bear market year. 1 green, 3 greens, 2 greens. Bear market year, 3 greens. It'll be 2 greens and a red. We should expect maybe 3 greens. We'll see 2 greens and a red maybe. But I'm just trying to drill this in over and over because you've probably heard me say so many times, I am being very cautious against using my Bitcoin to buy alts right now. Have alts pumped like crazy because of the election results? Yes. Have alts pumped like crazy even in March? Yes. But I've also been really cautious and careful, especially leading up to the end of this year with my Bitcoin stack. But as soon as we turn the page for January 1st, 2025, I am changing my strategy a lot. Even though Bitcoin has nominal performance for the first 3, 4, 5 months of the year, we know that we're heading into a topping year. And in a topping year, usually we're going to see some good performance when it comes to the first 3 months of the year. Not always, but we do see some decent performance for Bitcoin. But when we look at other coins like Ethereum, we know Ethereum historically has grossly outperformed Bitcoin when it comes to the first quarter. We look at the total 2, which is a representation of the top 10 tokens, in my opinion, excluding Bitcoin. Then we're looking at really good performance for the next 5 months. If we look at total 3, this is like the top 10 to the top 50. We're looking at really good performance for the next 4 months. And if we look at others, which is all the low cap stuff that you degens love trading, we're looking at probably good 5 months of trading ahead of us. Now, I understand that looking at the current time frame right now, it doesn't feel so great, does it? But that's the whole point of this video, not to zone in on what's happening right now, because the right now doesn't matter. Because if we were actually finishing up a rally year, then the next year is a topping year. And we know that the first 3 to 4, maybe 5 months of every single year are net positive, net bullish. For others, total 3, total 2, like this shares over here, or this shows rather over here, we should be really excited, especially given the fact that others saw a massive, massive rally up here, January, February, March, April, 4 years ago. We go back from there, 4 years ago, we saw an insane rally over here for those same 5 months. So I am banking on the fact that 2025 is going to have a very strong quarter 1. With alts. So it will change the way that I trade. It will change the way that I'm looking at charts. And with that said, not every single exchange has as many BTC pairs as I would like. So what do I do with that? Well, I could swap my BTC for stable coins and then swap it back. So if I want to use my Bitcoin, sell some Bitcoin to buy whatever degen meme coin I want to buy, or AI coin or whatever. So then I'm going to be making money with that and then rotate it back into Bitcoin. The reality, though, is that if we're going into a topping year, which I fully believe we are, that means that we also need to identify our targets at which we want to sell Bitcoin. And I talked about this in a very recent video that you've got to review. Now, while the timing of this video was uncannily really good, the reality is that the whole point of this video is not necessarily to sell right now, but to identify those targets so that when we are all feeling euphoric, we're all feeling giddy and excited, that we're already taking some profits, the profits on the rally, on the way up. Because if we're not taking profits on the way up, we're just taking screenshots, all we'll be left is with some really nice screenshots, but no profits. So I want to make sure that you understand 2 things. I believe that 2025 is going to be the Bitcoin topping year. Number 2, I believe that the next 3 to 5 months are going to be very bullish for alts based off of a 4-year cycle, a pattern that we've seen emerge that's tested to be accurate back in 2021, 4 years ago, and 2017, 8 years ago. Now, do with this information as you will. This is my investigation. This is my observations on the markets, but I do believe this is going to happen, and it will greatly change the way that I use my trading portfolio, especially all the BTC that I've been happily sitting on while all these other alts have been tumbling against BTC. Now, I'm just one man, and I love reading your comments and replying to as many of them as I possibly can. So let me know in this comment section down below what you think about 2025 being a topping year. I know already that some of you think that Bitcoin has topped. I don't think that it's topped yet. I think we're going to go higher. And also let me know your thoughts about this seasonality concept when it comes to alts. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.